Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pav Bamber here for PSB Sports, and on the line with me, I have got boxing expert at Sky Sports and overall legend, to be honest, Mr. Spencer Fearon. Spencer, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm blessed and highly favoured. I'm really good, brother.
Good to hear, Spencer. Good to hear. Spence, really only one place to start, to be honest. I mean, I didn't manage to get your initial reaction, obviously, when Brook-Golovkin was made. But, I mean, I got the press release and I was out at the time. And when I saw it, I looked at it and it said Kilbrook versus Gennady Golovkin. And at first, I thought it was a typo. I thought, is that meant to say Chris Eubank Jr. versus Gennady Golovkin? I was just surprised. But at the same time, I was like, wow, this is going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to this. Spence, if you can remember, what was your initial reaction when you saw the news of Brook-Golovkin?
Well, I didn't. I knew about a few days before that the fight was offered to Kilbrook.
Sure.
So it was one of them ones where was Kilbrook going to take the fight? He's going to take the fight. And yeah, because it was to do with deliberations of money between Chris Eubank Sr. and Matchroom, and that was the underlining issue. And then, as Eddie Hearns reportedly said, that they were making demands that they were not going to succumb to. So what's done's done, and the fight's not happening, and they had to go and pass it off to somebody else.
Sure. And when you first saw, in fact, to be honest, if we go back a step, I guess, a lot of people believed, like just Frank Warren said, that there wasn't going to be a chance of Golovkin Jr. happening. I think even Froch said as well he wasn't sure if the fight was going to happen. Do you think?
Oh, well, listen, let me tell you this now. That's all well and good, Carl Froch and Frank Warren saying that, but I've also got a personal relationship with Chris Eubank Sr.
Right.
Known Jr. for a long while. And I am telling you now, 100% they wanted that fight.
Mm.
Right? It wasn't, we're going to blag it and whatever. Like, it was that genius stroke of to get my son's name further out there with all the ballyhoo that's happened, especially the Nick Blackwell fight, when I think you guys interviewed me then.
Yeah.
But nothing to do with that. They 100% positively thought they were going to fight Golovkin and beat him. It was just that the dad was coming in with some demands that Eddie Hearn said was crazy. But you have to understand that if you deal with Chris Eubank Sr., there is a massive element of crazy if you don't understand him.
Sure.
So that's why that fight didn't happen.
So as you said, mainly due to negotiations and demands, as what Eddie Hearn has said. As you mentioned there, Spence, you're close with Chris Eubank Sr. and so on and so forth. Have they said anything to you since the Brook fight's been made? They obviously must be bitterly disappointed that they can't get the Golovkin fight.
I've spoken to him about it, but of course he's going to be upset. But, you know, like, he's not the easiest. Chris Eubank's not the easiest guy to negotiate business with. And you heard of some of the demands that were put in place. They even wanted Jim Rosenthal and Barry McGuigan. Barry McGuigan's now on Channel 5. Jim Rosenthal is on Box Nation, but he wanted them as commentators and to present the show. So he wanted ticket prices to be humped up a little bit more than what they usually are. And then the final thing, I think, for me, I'm paraphrasing what Eddie Hearn said.
Sure.
But the Eubank brand is bigger than Andy Joshua. Andy Joshua is one of the biggest sports stars in the world now. So the Eubank brand of the past, it was a big brand. You know what I mean? Let's not be twisted. Sure. It was absolutely massive, especially 1990 to 94. It was really, really big. But those days are past now. And that's, you know what I mean, that's the God's honest truth. Now, you know what I mean, we could kind of like empathize with certain things that Chris Eubank was saying, but for sentimental reasons, then it's a big name. But sure, this is a cash business, brother. And Andy Joshua, since Christmas, has made something like £15 million. So, like,
yeah,
let's leave it at that.
Okay. Wow, I'm pretty blown away by that figure, to be honest. I could do with 1% of that. but so Spence, obviously, that's fair enough. You've given your take on that Eubank situation. So now, if you had to, and obviously, Spence, surely, it's surely an aspiration for them, Spencer, to get in the ring with Golovkin, Eubank, because, Spence, a lot of people thought, actually, that Eubank could beat Golovkin, so surely it's still an aspiration of them to get in the ring with him in the future, isn't it?
Well, it's not the aspiration because other people think that you can beat the guy. It's his own personal aspiration. I don't care what. Listen to me. I don't care what other people think about me or say about me or anything else. So other people could say what they want to say, and I think Chris Eubank's in the same mindset that he don't care what other people say. You know what I mean? He's just got to go and do his thing, and his thing is the son's thing is to go out and fight the best and be the best, and he's putting a very, very good performance in against Nick Blackwell. But let's take that fight as what it was. It was Nick Blackwell. Nick Blackwell is 3 to 4 levels beneath a Golovkin. Let's be real here.
So, in terms of the future, Spence, who would you like to see Chris Eubank Jr. fight next?
Well, apparently he's called out saying that he'd like to fight Martin Murray.
Yeah, that's the fight we talked about.
Me personally, maybe go and get another rematch with Billy Joe Saunders, which I don't think would be an easy fight anyway, because both guys have improved, but it wouldn't be easy. And, there's Danny Jacobs that's there. But to be honest, I would really love to see Chris Eubank Jr. go and fight James DeGale. Yeah. Because James DeGale, who's an unbeaten fighter, who's doing great stuff, but needs a British fight. And I don't think that George Groves is in a rush to see James DeGale, but I know that maybe if the money was offered, the right money was offered, and the deal was set in place for these two gentlemen to go get on because they don't like each other, I think that fight could happen.
In fact, I think that fight, I know Chris Eubank Sr. mentioned that when they go up to super middleweight, they want to fight James DeGale. I think that's a great fight. Eubank Jr. DeGale, Eubank Jr. Groves, Murray Eubank. Spence, with all these British fighters we got here in the mix, it's surely, Spencer, it's inevitable in the next 12 to 18 months that they're going to get in the ring and it's going to be a blockbuster of fights, isn't it, surely?
But in it being inevitable, there's an inevitability that it may not happen. I would like to see those fights happen. It would be great if those fights were to happen. And, and fingers crossed that they do.
Spencer, also, when you said there that you found out a few days before that Brook was going to fight, Brook was offered the Golovkin fight, as you say. When you heard about this, Spencer, did you think, what an opportunity for Kell Brook? It's a fight he could definitely win. You're at home, you're at the O2 Arena on Sky Sports box office.
I wasn't thinking that at all, sorry. I'm not going to lie.
What was your thoughts originally? What was your thoughts when you heard about it?
I heard from Chris Eubank Sr. that they could offer the fight to Kell Brook. And when I initially heard it, I said, that's crazy for him to go and take that fight. And
your reasons for that are, if you don't mind explaining?
What? Come on, man. Did you think the same?
To be honest, when I thought...
No, not stammering. Did you think the same, that he'd be crazy to take that fight?
I'm not going to lie. I didn't think Kell Brook was crazy to fight Golovkin. I'm not going to lie. When I saw it, I didn't think it was crazy. Genuinely.
Why? I'm asking you why.
Because I believe, Kell Brook is a genuine world-class fighter. So is Gennady Golovkin. Agreed. We saw in May, Amir Khan go up to 155 and face Canelo. Fair enough. He didn't do so well. We got the weights. But, in boxing, opportunities present themselves sometimes. Kell Brook hasn't had that big standout fight, Spencer, something Eddie Hearn's spoken about for a while. So, there wasn't really anything going on at welterweight. They've offered the Amir Khan the fight. He hasn't taken it.
Wait. So why don't you try and challenge the other champions that are there? You got Danny Garcia there. You got Keith Thurman there. The Diaz fight, which they were trying to make, and I don't know what happened. Diaz was there. You got Timothy Bradley still down there. Manny Pacquiao has now come back out of retirement. That'd be someone that you could be looking at. Why wasn't those guys offered to him? But you have to look now. You know what I mean, Pav, how old are you, Pav?
20.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Brother, I got pubic hair older than you. Right? So I'm saying that that fight wasn't because it was an intuitive move by Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn. That fight was there because Eddie Hearn got fed up of the rigmarole and the roundabouts of Chris Eubank Sr. I said, well, sod this. We've signed Golovkin to fight. He's meant to be fight on this day, and he has a minimum guarantee. Whatever. Say it was like, I don't know, $1.5 million, the minimum guarantee that you got to take into provisional pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So he's thinking, well, who else have I got? I haven't got any middleweights, and I haven't got any light middleweights. Right? So who else is there for me? Shit. Kell Brook, you're a welterweight, but I know you're struggling to make the weight because Kell Brook must cut. Kell Brook must walk around at near enough 190.
Wow, so he has to cut over 40 pounds in weight.
Yeah. He walks around very, very big. Okay,
right.
Or about 182, 183.
Yeah.
So he cuts to get down to the weight. And you've been doing this for donkeys. I know this, but the reason why I know this is because I remember Dean Powell, God rest his soul in paradise, the former matchmaker of Frank Warren, told me that that's what he comes down from. And I've seen him when he's come down to spar years ago. He used to help me out with a couple of my fighters when him and Dave Coolwell, when he was working with Dave Coolwell, would travel down to work with us and give my boys some work and vice versa. And he was big then. So Kell Brook is a physically big man. So the reason why there was cynicism, when I originally heard, I said, nah, this is a joke. Because I wanted to see Chris Eubank Jr. in there, because one thing I knew about Chris Eubank Jr. is because you're going to get the whole regalia and the theatrics and the nuts before the fight, I thought it'd be interesting. It would definitely sell for a pay-per-view. People would be interested to buy it. People are interested to buy this Kell Brook fight because people think that they're going to a public execution.
Wow, that's... Okay, I'm starting to get more and more your views on this fight. You don't seem a fan at all, Spence, to say the least.
No. Don't misquote me. When I originally heard the fight, I thought it was a joke. I'm being real.
Okay.
Now it's taking time to marinate on me.
Right.
And I'm thinking about it. And the more I'm watching Golovkin, like I've been saying in the past, he does make mistakes. But he's got really, really good feet. And Golovkin's in a no-win situation. Golovkin goes out, bangs out Kell Brook in 1 or 2 rounds, and people are going to say, well, you only beat a welterweight. And as much as you're saying, well, Amir Khan moved up, name me the fighters who have moved up from welterweight to middleweight, not in between, and won world titles. Can you name them?
I'll be honest with you, I can't name a single one, I'll be honest. I can't.
Right. Of recent times, then we can say Oscar De La Hoya did it, but Oscar De La Hoya campaigned at junior middleweight.
Yeah.
Where he won world titles there, and then he lost the world title controversially to Shane Mosley in, what was that, 2000 and 2003?
A while ago, yeah.
Right. No, that was very controversial. In 2003, then he moves up, he fights Felix Sturm. He beats Felix Sturm, which was a kind of robbery because he never beat Felix Sturm. And then the year after, he fights Bernard Hopkins and gets stopped by the body shot. So, the Oscar De La Hoya tried to do it. The guys who've had success in doing it, 1966, if we're talking history now, Emil Griffiths, the former welterweight champion of the world, moves up, fights Dick Tiger, and outpoints Dick Tiger for the world middleweight title. And the difference was in this, Dick Tiger was from Nigeria. Hellacious, he could punch. He could punch, sit down and punch. He's a very hard hitter. And Dick Tiger comes into the fight at 160. Emil Griffiths comes into the fight at 150 pounds and a half. That's what he comes in at. So he didn't really pack on weight because he boxed at 147. So he only put like three pounds difference, but maintained enough speed to be in and out, and he won the middleweight world title for that. Next guy, when I'm looking at guys who did it, next guy who did it, the Orchard Man, Carmen Brasilio, fight Sugar Ray Robinson. I think that's 1958, 1958 or 1957, 1958. Fight Sugar Ray Robinson and outpoint Sugar Ray Robinson. He comes in, didn't come in that heavy. I think he came in about 152, 153, but didn't come in that heavy.
Right, okay.
But the difference is this: all of these guys, when they were going up and challenging, they weren't fighting big, heavy hitters. Sugar Ray Robinson was a big, heavy hitter, but Sugar Ray Robinson was 38 years old. Do you know what I mean? And deemed the scene being well past peak, because in 1951, Sugar Ray Robinson fights Jake LaMotta when Sugar Ray Robinson moves up from welterweight to fight for the middleweight crown, and Sugar Ray Robinson comes in about 152.
Okay, right. So as you mentioned there, obviously you spoke about De La Hoya, so on and so forth, and obviously you went back a fair bit. So obviously, to answer your original question, there isn't many then, Spencer, to say the least.
No, there isn't. There isn't many, and the ones that have done it, haven't really come in heavy. So when the guys said, "Well, I'm struggling for the weight, and I'm gonna come in at this new big fat weight," I don't think you should come in at a big fat weight. I don't think you should take those chances of coming in really, really heavy.
But then what?
I don't think you should at all.
So fair enough. That is your opinion on that. But Spence, you're saying that you don't think you should do that at all. So fair enough. So what are the main reasons why? Do you think Brook is going to be slower at 160? Or is there going to be certain attributes he does at welterweight he won't be able to do at middleweight? That when they stood together in New York, when they standed face to face, there wasn't the biggest size difference. So
you know what I mean? There wasn't a big size difference. Of course there was.
In what sense?
The thickness and girth of Golovkin compared to Kell Brook, that was a big difference to me.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Listen, I'm not being overly cynical over the fight, because you know what? If Kell Brook goes in there with a right, because one thing I do know about Kell Brook, he's a physically tough man. He's a mentally tough man.
Yeah. But
I harper back to when I've seen Kell Brook struggle in fights, just like the Carson Jones, even though he's improved in the Carson Jones fight.
Yeah.
Be realistic, Kell Brook was very, very fortunate to get the Sean Porter decision, because a lot of guys in America didn't think that he won that fight. Right? So, Kell Brook now being world champion, he hasn't been given the opportunity to showcase what he's really got, because he hasn't fought the top ranked guys. Guys like Jojo Dan and Kevin Bizet, and no disrespect to Frankie Gavin, but this is a different ball game who you're going in there with.
Agreed. So,
and Kell Brook's not even ranked the best welterweight in the world.
But Spence, in your opinion, who is the best welterweight in the world? Who do you think is
the best welterweight in the world?
In your opinion, yeah.
I would say Danny Garcia at this present moment, for consistency of fighting the bigger names, both at junior welter and that welterweight. But Keith Thurman is up there as well, because they're getting the fights. This is the thing; these guys are getting the fights. Unfortunately, Kell Brook ain't getting the fights.
You know how you mentioned that obviously Kell Brook isn't getting the fights, which is true. Do you think Spence out of the ring he's been unlucky, like the situation he had in Spain after his world title fight? He then obviously got injured in the ribs before Chavez. Do you think he's been quite unlucky since winning the world title with injuries and out of the ring incidents?
He has been, but regardless that I'm saying that he has been unlucky.
Yeah.
These things happen. This is boxing. And I think you're looking at this, you're getting your world title shot, your dream world title shot, pay-per-view slot, off of the fact that Chris Eubank Jr. didn't have the fight. So you're getting your chance at a big shot by default, not by anything that you've done. And because of that makes me a little bit more apprehensive about this fight.
Okay, I understand.
And you're looking at a big guy in, let me tell you this. If Golovkin was a welterweight, and Golovkin was fighting at welterweight and fighting a welterweight Kell Brook, I would actually tip Kell Brook to beat him. But I think there's too many intangibles going in against Kell Brook in here. But in saying that, it can be done, because I think Kell Brook, he calls himself a special one. I think that any time for you to show that you're special is now.
Absolutely, great line. If there's any time to show you're special, it'll be now. Absolutely, absolutely, Spencer. So you've now said you've had time for the fight? You've thought about the fight a bit more. When you first heard about it, fair enough, you gave your initial opinion. The fight's marinated on you, as you said. You've dwelled on it a little more. Now, Spencer, what comes to mind as you think about it?
What comes to mind?
You originally said to me earlier when you first heard about it.
I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, Kell-Brook, going into this fight now.
Yeah.
But it will still be the same result that I originally thought of, which I'm not going to give my result or my prediction on the fight yet because I've got a lot of work to do and to cover prior with Sky Sports. But I'm not going to give my prediction yet, as of yet. But when the fight draws closer, we got like 6 weeks.
We still got 6 weeks. September 10th. We still got a while yet.
Yeah, so we got a hot minute. You know what I mean? We got a hot minute. So we got like 7 weeks ago. Yeah. So yeah, prior when it comes up close to the fight, then I'll give my fight analogy and analysis on the fight.
I mean, for the fans though, in general, it is. You know, I know if you notice, Spencer. I don't know if you follow UFC with Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. Basically, when Conor McGregor went up to fight Diaz at 170 from 145, he got choked out.
Alright, let me tell you this, yeah?
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Boxing is a totally different sport to UFC.
Yeah.
It's two different disciplines. And like the old adage of a good little one a good big one will always beat a good little one. This may be the case for this fight.
Okay, right. Basically, what I was going to say was that when now they're having the rematch with McGregor and Diaz, Conor McGregor said in the press conference that he wouldn't be a good fighter if he declined the fight at a higher weight, because he was saying that it's all good me saying I could cut a load of weight and get to 145 and beat you for speed, but I want to try and be the ultimate fighter. I want to try and beat you at your weight. I'm going to try and beat you at higher weight. So I think it's important to remember that obviously Kell-Brook does deserve, at the same time, agreed with your opinion on the fight, Kell-Brook does deserve a lot of credit for obviously going up to 160 and facing the main guy.
Listen to me. It's not. Wait. It's not like he sat down and said, "Right, then I want the Golovkin fight. This is the fight I want." Right.
Right.
He's getting the fight by default.
Right. Okay.
Is anyone not sitting down and kind of thinking, "Well, how's Kell-Brook getting a fight? Is it something that he studiously sat down and planned with Eddie Hearn?"
Of course not. No,
it's not. The reason why you're getting a fight is because Chris Eubank Sr. and Chris Eubank Jr. were being arseholes over what they wanted done in the fight and how they decent contracts. So it never happened. And Eddie Hearn said, "You know what? Fuck you lot. I'm going to just go give it to somebody else." And he didn't have nobody else to give it to, so he gave it to
Kell-Brook.
And Kell-Brook deliberated over for 3 days and said, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm taking it. I want to get paid too." And I think I can beat you because fighters have this mentality of, "Bro, we got this unbeaten demeanor. I ain't lost the fight. I'm gonna go take it." And for that, I commend him for.
Yeah.
But I'm not commending him. But shouldn't you give him credit because he's taken a fight and No, but you never orchestrated it like that. So how can I props you for that? I'm not props you for that.
Okay, fair enough, Spence. So obviously, as you said, there we still got 6-7 weeks left till the fight. So you've obviously got a lot of work to do for Sky, so on and so forth. You're gonna give your fight prediction on fight week, I assume, then, right?
Yeah, most definitely. But I'm saying, like, I know what Kell-Brook should do to secure victory. Now, if I was Kell-Brook, I would sit down and study religiously Bernard Hopkins versus Tito Trinidad in 2001. I would have him definitely study Bernard Hopkins versus Kelly Pavlik. Mm-hmm. Not because they got the same styles, because they haven't. Kelly Pavlik hasn't got the same style as Golovkin, but he was a gangly puncher. You know what I mean? And Tito Trinidad was a loose limb puncher. But how to nullify power. Bernard Hopkins was a master of nullifying power. And I would say to these guys here, that's who you should be sitting down and studying hard. You should be sitting down and studying hard Bernard Hopkins, because every time someone takes a step to attack you, Bernard Hopkins will take the exact same step away from the target of the shots. So he'd be riding the shots by just stepping out and then throwing counters. And the key punch for Kell-Brook in this fight will be the right hand left hook,
mm-hmm.
and moving away from Golovkin's right hand. More so his right hand than his left hook. right? And then trying to stay close with him. Not trying to, I'm going to box him at range and make it look silly, but trying to stay close up to him, stay in his chest like Benelin, so Golovkin can't tee off with those big shots. And constantly turning. If you can constantly turn him, it's easier said than done. But if you can administer a game plan like that, then, you know, he could actually win.
So, Spencer, I just want to pick up on something you said there. It was actually very interesting. You said there that Kell Brook shouldn't try and box him at range and make him look silly, but instead he should try and get closer, because a lot of people, Spencer, in general, and you know, people in boxing fans were saying that Billy Joe Saunders would cause Golovkin a lot of problems because of his southpaw stance and his ability to box well. So you're saying the opposite. You're saying, Kell Brook, don't try and box him at range. Try and get close to him if you can. Is that right?
No, I was saying box him at range, but when he's up close, he's got beat in his chest.
Right.
So Golovkin can't tee off for those big shots. But all of this, when you think like Golovkin sometimes throws uneducated punches.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't throw punches to the mathematics of how we're taught to deliver shots in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes you throw an arcing left hook that comes up high, like the elbows up high, and the elbows pointing down to like in a 4 o'clock position to come and chop you with that shot. So I would say to him not to give him that much room, because you think, oh well, I'm just gonna box him and run away. Don't work like that. You're gonna box him and run away. You're gonna give the guy confidence. The best thing for someone like that, who is a tough guy, is to box him, but to hit him with hard, spiteful shots. And I think Kell Brook could actually do that, hit him with hard, spiteful shots.
Fair enough, Spence. Fair enough. Spencer, moving on now from Triple G versus Kell Brook and the Eubank situation. Anthony Joshua, Spence, just had two fights, Charles Martin and Brazil this year. I think now he's going to have a well-deserved break, because I think a few people mentioned he felt pretty tired, and he even said himself, and Eddie Hearn said he didn't have the best of camps running up to Brazil. Now Joshua's going to get a well-deserved rest. What do you anticipate for him in the second half of the year, Spencer?
I'm not sure. I know that Joseph Parker just won 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I know that he's IBF number 1 challenger.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Parker will get done real bad.
I agree.
Go on my Facebook. I posted a video about the authenticity of the jab and how to step in with your shots. And I used my thesis of discussion was Sonny Liston versus Cleveland Williams, 1960, their fight, where Sonny Liston knocked him out in 2 rounds, but both guys did some really, really clever, smart things in there. So I would have Andy Joshua study guys how to throw out that jab. You know, sometimes he does seem a little bit cumbersome, but he is greatly talented, and he's only going to improve. And this is right now, Andy Joshua's a world champion, holds a world title, and to me, in my eyes, Andy Joshua's not even 60% yet. Wow.
So so you think his potential is a lot to go?
His potential is massive.
Right.
Seriously. His potential is really, really massive. All he's got to do is constantly study. A lot of people don't. But I'll say to him just to constantly study.
Fair enough, Spence. And Spencer, just wondering, have you watched Joseph Parker's fight with Jason Bergman by any chance?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I've also watched that fight, and you mentioned there that you believe Parker will get done in really bad. In that Bergman fight, would you agree, because this is what I think, would you agree that Parker was getting hit quite a lot?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Exactly, right, yeah.
And he just hit so hard that even when you block the shots, they'll trickle through and hurt you.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Spence. I believe in that Bergman fight, he was getting hit really easily. Really easily. Right.
You can't give away 3 shots with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
But don't get twisted. I do like Joseph Parker, and he will come to fight. And remember that, was he Samoan descent, right?
Yeah, Samoan descent. He lives in New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, Samoan descent. Those people are religiously tough, and they're mentally tough as well. Do you know what I mean? They got warrior's pride. So he'll come to bring it. but I just think Andy Joshua is a different breed on certain aspects, and I think Andy Joshua would take care of him.
Fair enough, Spence. Fair enough. And so Parker's in place in the number one spot. When he's got that voluntary gap again, do you think 2017 is the time we're finally going to see Fury Joshua or Fury Hay? Or sorry, Hay Joshua and Joshua Fury.
And who?
But do you think once that mandatory's out of the way, in 2017 we'll be able to see Joshua Hay or Joshua Fury?
I believe so. I don't think Joshua Fury. I think they'll leave that for maybe into 2018.
Okay.
But I definitely think next year we'll see Joshua Hay. All David has got to do is beat up an old man who's so old when he coughs asbestos flies out of his mouth in his next fight, and just keep on winning, because I think he's ranked number 3 in the IBF right now.
Yeah.
And then David Hay wants probably have to go fight a mandatory, which I don't know who it would be against. Could even be against Takam. And then once that's out of the way, then we'll be lined up to see David Hay versus Andy Joshua, and we can all sit back and be very, very, appeased to see how that fight pans out.
I think it is great, isn't it, Spencer? The British heavyweights right now: Hughie Fury, Tyson Fury, Andy Joshua, David Hay, David Price back as well now, David Allen, Dillian Whyte. It's a real good mix, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, it's an exciting time to be a British boxing fan, but an even more exciting time to be a British boxing heavyweight fan. We've got loads of great fights. We have 2 world champions, something that hasn't been done since, I think, like 1994, when Lennox Lewis became the WBC, when Lennox Lewis was WBC champion and the WBO champion was Herbie Hyde. So we got a fantastic time, man. It's a fantastic time for heavyweight boxing.
Sounds good. It sounds great. And Spence, also tonight, Crawford v Postol. Who you got in that fight?
I got Postol.
Wow. And why? Because what's your reasons for that?
You know why I say that? Because so many people say, when Spencer talks about fights, he always favors black fighters. That's absolute bullshit. I mean, one of my favorite fighters of all time is Gene Tunney. I love Willie Pep. So, I'm just a massive fan of skill. When I see skill demonstrated, I don't care who it's coming from. I'm siding on the side of skill. I got Terence Crawford winning this fight, pulling away from. I did a fight breakdown. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see the fight breakdown. Sure. I got Postol causing a little bit of trouble early on because Postol is a very smart fighter. He's a very clever boxer. And he skips back really good. You know what I mean? Like he do the pull count, but he do the pull count with a jab and not with the right hand. He'll pull count and throw the jab, coming with left hooks. He must be able to crack a little bit because he did stop Lucas Matisse. But to tell you the honest truth, in hindsight now, looking back at all the wars that Lucas Matisse has been involved in, maybe Matisse was a little bit shot-worn.
Okay. Fair enough, yeah.
So I'm not gonna be overly. Oh my God, he beat Lucas Matisse. Oh my God, he must be so good. Yeah. He's good, but I think Terence Crawford is a special kind of fighter. I did a really good breakdown with him, especially watching his Gamboa fight. There's little sneaky things, there's intrinsic things that cannot really be taught. You just got to have it inside of you naturally, and he's one of those guys. He's got it naturally inside of him. He switches southpaw, orthodox. He'll switch, and in the mid of him switching from being an orthodox fighter to a southpaw fighter, he'll throw right uppercuts off of it. He's just a very, very good fighter. But he did get hurt in the Gamboa fight, where his legs kind of stiffened, and he stops Gamboa. Yeah. So, but he could have been struggling to make it weight. I don't know. But in this fight here, I've got him winning this fight 116, 112. On all the cards. You may even see like a 118, 111 on.
Interesting stuff, Spence. Interesting stuff. You've, in this interview, you've definitely dropped some serious knowledge on us.
So, man, it's cool. Cat wearing. It's just that I'm tired and it's hot in my house right now.
Nah, man, I understand. It's all good, Spence. I want to say thank you so much for giving me your time this Saturday evening. I really appreciate it. And
yes, man, it's all good.
Thanks a lot, and hopefully we can definitely continue this again soon, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's keep up the good work. Yeah. Take care. God bless, brother.
Thanks a lot.